Hey guys, thank you for joining me. Just here in Nashville, Tennessee, and enjoying the scenery out here. Just taking a moment, just wanted to touch base, check in. Um, Wanted to kind of share some thoughts on a great exchange that I had with someone that I follow. He's more of an educator than an influencer, and had a great discussion with him about clones and why do people chase clones and and kind of explain my a little bit about my journey and I think I've shared with a lot of you in terms of yeah, I mean, I've started wide, right? In terms of, look, I'm someone who's older, who kind of just started getting into fragrance and really kind of wanted to learn a little bit about this because I wanted to for me, the fragrance was about showing up in the world in a certain way, sending a message, right? And so part of that was getting healthy, trying to start my starting my own business, and managing teams and just wanted to just show up differently in the world, and fragrance was part of that story. The dress, the weight loss, staying healthy, and showing up into different rooms, right? And so we talked about clones, and I kind of explained that for me, clones were a way to kind of just start, right? And absolutely, like everybody else, fell into chasing hype trains, buying a lot of things that sprayed a few times, maybe wore it a few times. Some of them wore a lot, and I kind of gone through them and I enjoy them and I still use them. Others just sat on shelves. Most of them sat on shelves. And I just built a library of things that I wasn't using up until the point where, okay, I started getting better in terms of slowing down, of chasing things, learning about fragrance, being more intentional in terms of how I'm learning, right? Learning what is a fougere, what is a gourmand, what is a what's vetiver, what's juniper, right? Like just kind of trying to learn kind of things that I enjoy. Do I enjoy things that are I started off, I enjoyed things that were sweeter, kind of, right? Like I really now I can't even wear that. I don't enjoy that anymore. So I'm moving into more things that are drier, more resinous, more mature, more fitting for the rooms that I'm in. So just kind of like Frank, that's been my journey. But the clones gave me an opportunity to smell things that I would have never tested before, right? Because I was a typical guy who had a Mont Blanc, right? I had a designer, I had the Paco Rabanne, the gold bar looking thing. I'm trying to think of what else I had. Yeah, just like a lot of designer stuff. So I just never thought about it that way. So now I'm much more intentional. So the clones gave me an opportunity, but I wanted to kind of put this video up, talking about what is today's clone exchange rate. And what do I mean by that? I started wide, bought a lot of things. I think I had 50 bottles of stuff, right? Maybe more of stuff. I was only probably reaching for about 5 to 10 of them. And so I started selling this stuff off. Right? And I realized, like, look, I'm not going to get all my money back. I'm selling clones, right? And I'm selling inspired buys, which is okay. I'm giving someone else an opportunity to learn. That was my education, right? So I paid, so I looked at that as an investment of education to learn basics. Now, I absolutely still use clones, but it's a little different. So let me explain. So, what is the exchange rate? What is my clone exchange rate for today? So, first thing is clone to affordable niche. I think what I'm learning and what I realized, I watched a video from from someone called Equality Fragrance. They call him EQ. Really, I mean, the guy is obviously much more advanced. He's much more further down the road, right? Talks a lot about high niche kind of things, but really interesting, right? Because this is a man that's obviously in different rooms. different corporate rooms. But also, I mean, you could just tell, the guy's got his shit together, and he moves differently, right? But it's cool. I love that. I love the, I love the energy. I love the confidence, right? And just I think his message is, hey, look, guys, is why are we chasing clones? So we had a great discussion about it. And I gave it thought last night, and really I'm selling off a lot of some of my stuff, right? The stuff that I'm not reaching for. Um, and so I was like, because now I'm starting to buy, like he put out a video that was phenomenal. It was like the 10 fragrances that he would recommend for anybody starting out or something along those like his top 10 that he would recommend. And when you looked at the list, I would say probably six, maybe even half of those are things that are well within my reach, right? And I started thinking, what is the clone exchange rate to an affordable entry niche, right? It's literally, if you look at it, if you went out and bought a Zherzhov, a Mancera, a even a Boss Imperial, right? Right, literally, it's a Boss Imperial, and I think I'm saying it correctly. Who it is a well-known quality, affordable niche fragrance that is the equivalent of one game of Spade and a Rayhan. Or if you wanted to buy a Zherzhov, it's two game of Spades, right? That's the way I look at it. It's like, am I really reaching for that stuff? Am I really genuinely using it? What if I either sold it off or chose not to buy it and held on to that money and saved it for a purchase? That is an exchange rate that I can live with today, right? Like, so that's level one. Is it four bottles of, is it four $40 bottles that can get you a quality entry level niche or a nice affordable um, um, niche fragrance, right? That is obviously very there, like in Ormond Jane and Essential Parfums, or Goldfield and Banks, a BDK, a used one, M M Calaf, right? Like there's some really cool stuff out there. Like you can really get that it's quality, right? So that's four $4 four $40 bottles. That exchange rate works for me, right? Because am I really going to reach for those $40 for those Rayhans? Maybe, maybe not. Or is it two Game of Spades? Two Game of Spades for one essential parfums. To me, that exchange rate works. I can live with that, right? Or is it $360 clones, or is it four duos? Right? If you look at it that way, it's am I really reaching for that, or am I just building a collection of something that someone said it perfectly? Is my collection a physical embodiment of my algorithm, of my TikTok algorithm, of my Facebook algorithm, of my Instagram algorithm? Yes, mine was. It was starting to become that. So I kind of hit the brakes on that, and so reset, and so just kind of so I'm kind of moving into a different world in terms of just trying to kind of explore different things, right? And so like even right now, like I'm in a bidding, like I just put a bid in for is it Imperium Electimus or Electimus Imperium, selling it for $110. That's three clones. That's one game of spades and a right. Like that is a nice entry, something that I can, that exchange rate in my mind works for me right now based on my goals, based on what I feel comfortable spending. Okay. But now there is level two for me. I like Yamaleo. I like Banadiers. Is the exchange rate there for me? Is it enough to buy the actual? Right? in some situations, not right now, right? Like they have a phenomenal take on the Aventus Absolute. They have a phenomenal take on Blue Talisman, right? Like it's well known. Like that's what Bandit did. Like they have some real hitters that are quality extracts, right? Is the exchange rate enough where I'm willing to move from a $50, $60 extract that's nice blend and it's good enough to move up to a $400 fragrance? For me, that exchange rate isn't there yet. It's just not right now based on my goals, based on where I'm at in my journey, right? So that is exchange rate number two, right? Is if I want a Roja, am I ready? There are some entry level Rojas that I 100% I would like to buy an Elysium and a solo blue, right? That exchange rate might be three game of spades. It might be four Rayhans, right? It might, right. Like when you look at it that way, you're like, okay, they do have an entry level, right? But now there's some higher end stuff that right now, if Yamaleo can put me in the same room to kind of understand how to wear it, when to wear it, I'm okay with that right now. You know, if a Bandadier can get me a phenomenal take on a Aventus Absolute or a or Tom Ford, right? Or you know, tuxedo, right? Like that's very situational. For right now, I'm good with that because I understand that that's where I'm at right now in my journey. So that exchange rate is not enough to be able to move up yet, right? So I think that I'm much more. So it's going wide, chasing hype trains, being much more targeted in terms of learning about different fragrance houses and learning about different types of fragrance, right? And then, all right, is it enough? Is there an entry level that it's okay to buy 120, 150 level? Because that means that's just one game of spades and one Rehan. That's two game of spades. That's that's three. That's one Alexandria a and a nitro, right? Like right, like if you think about it that way, yeah, I then maybe then I'm okay with maybe then moving up the ladder a little bit. But exchange rate number three, it's just buying hype trains where we all start, right? And it's buying clones, building up an entire collection of things that it is literally a physical embodiment of your algorithm, right? And that was the best way I heard somebody say that. I was like, yeah, man, that's true. It is you're buying hype trains, you're buying from influencers. Understand that online marketing is a real thing, guys. Scarcity, right? All these tricks, right, is real, right? And so as someone, I'm telling you, it's real because I bought into it, but I hit the brakes on it, right? So that's the exchange rate number three because what you're exchanging is you're buying hype trains, you're exchanging money, and you're losing time in terms of moving up and learning and moving up your journey, right? So I think that that's where it's called in economics it's called opportunity cost. What are you exchanging because you're buying and buying and buying at $40 a bottle, which I've been guilty of, and you're not learning and you're not even really moving up the ladder in terms of experiencing a vibrato that is well within your reach. You know what I mean? Which is quality. It's beautiful. You know, buying a Zherzhov, buying, sorry about that. I had a phone call there. Buying a Zherzhov, buying a Mancera, buying something entry, right? In terms of you're missing opportunity cost. And so I think that that's number three, right? that exchange rate. Number three is that you're missing opportunities to move up, to learn, because you're going so wide that you're not learning. You're just buying and you're consuming. And then, yeah, it's that dopamine hit. It's how many clones did you buy that delayed you from getting the actual thing, right? I went down that rabbit hole with imagination. How many fucking clones do I need, guys? I literally, it clicked for me when I was over on TikTok, and I ended up in a bidding war for Mykonos. I'm like, I'm a grown man. What am I doing? Like, what? Who am I? Right? So I said, all right, I'm done. So I did I get him? Yeah, I got the Mykonos. I got the reflection. I literally sold them off right away. Like I didn't. I'm like, what the hell am I doing? I'm good with Jeremy Hectic. It does what I love the way. I don't need another one that's closer. I'm good with this. And right now, the exchange rate isn't there for me to buy the original. I'm just not for me right now. And also, I just genuinely enjoy the fragrance. So, look, I just wanted to share that in terms of the exchange rate. Are you exchanging money for short term dopamine hits and at the expense of getting the real thing? Or then I would say that, you're losing time, right? Or is there an opportunity for you, if you're not using things, maybe sell them off and maybe buy one or two things that you've been trying to get? But also, I'm at a phase now where the some of my clones, I'm okay. I will hold on to them for a bit until I'm ready to move up and maybe buy the real thing. Do I want an arm wash? Do I want Purpose 50? 100%. Do I want decision? Absolutely, 100%. Nadir has a phenomenal take on it, and I enjoy it because I get to use it. I get to understand how to use it, where to wear it. Yamaleo has a decent take on Purpose 50. I love it. I love that incense. I like it gives me an opportunity to kind of wear it and feel it, right? And okay, it's not the real thing right now, but right now the exchange rate is not there yet for me, mentally and financially, right? To move up. So yeah, it's all of us. This is a journey for all of us, guys. And so I'm just sharing my experiences. And so ask yourself, what's your exchange rate today? What is your clone exchange rate? And are you losing or are you winning? And so only you could define that and only you could answer that. So just wanted to share that. I think room service is going to be here soon. So let them fix the beds. Thank you very much. I hope this offers value and I'll put this up. Thank you.